Today's show is sponsored in part by Remax Edge for all your real estate needs, and Ford's Garage for prime burgers and craft beer, Firestone, wood-fired grill, and Los Cabos, fresh Tex-Mex and tequila bar. Downtown Fort Myers' finest dining. And now your host, Melissa DeHaven.
Hello and welcome to People and Places Today. Today we're at the Edison Ford Winter Estates and we're here with Neil Curell. Is that correct?
Yep.
Neil Curell, and he's going to give us a mini tour and give us some information all about the homes and what happens here.
Well, the Edison and Ford Winter Estate sits on approximately 20 acres of botanical gardens, homes, laboratory, and a museum. Behind me we have one of the world famous banyan tree. It's planted in 1925 by Thomas Edison and is a major staple as you enter the grounds. I'll be showing you today the Botanical Research Laboratory, as well as the Edison main home, guest home, and Ford's winter home as well. So
20 acres.
20 acres, over 20 acres. It's quite a fantastic property, and it's a jewel to the city of Fort Myers.
And so the laboratories here of Edison?
Yes, the Edison Botanical Research Laboratory, which was set up by Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Harvey Firestone, all for the purposes of researching natural rubber.
And they shared and they worked together?
They all worked together with the staff of Edison's, and it was a great project right towards the end of Edison's life.
Okay, and then their estates are on the property as well.
Yes, the homes that sit across the street. You have the Edison main home, the guest home, as well as the Henry Ford home, which was purchased by Henry Ford after staying with Edison for so long.
Wow, and so they were neighbors. You have
Yeah,
these
they
two
were neighbors.
Innovators of the world.
Edison and Ford were also, best friends and business partners. They really collaborated a lot, and they worked together. They shared ideas. It was a great partnership and friendship in American history.
Wow. Okay, great. So what can we go see today?
Well, let's start off in the laboratory. We'll show you
Okay.
the laboratory, and we'll have a great time
All
in
right,
there.
That's exciting. Let's go see
Let's
the
go.
laboratory. Come on.
So now we're here at the Edison Botanical Research Laboratory. The laboratory was set up in 1927 for the purposes of researching naturalized rubber, and this was created by Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Harvey Firestone. It is a very important building here on the Edison States property, so you want to go check it out?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
see.
go. So here we are in the Botanical Research Laboratory. The Botanical Research Laboratory is set up into 4 different parts. You have the chemical side, which are filled with all of original glass to this property. You have the grinding room off to the back, the machine shop side of it, as well as a photography darkroom lab. Everything in here is original to this building. Everything that was made here stayed here. It was recently restored, and we had spent close to $1 million with the restoration. It's a gorgeous building and a real testament to the legacy of Thomas Edison.
You can just feel the creativity in here. I mean, there was major things happening here. This is just really incredible.
The laboratory was set up to research rubber right towards the end of the First World War. As if we ever got back into a situation, which of course we did with the Second World War, we would need a constant source of rubber domesticated here in the United States. So that was the whole purpose of the laboratory being created. They researched over 17,000 different variety of plants, and really came up with a few great processes of natural rubber.
Wow, that's amazing. Very great. So
Yeah.
can we check out some more on the property?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right.
Well, now we're in one of the exhibits in the museum. This is the Movies, Music, and Dance Room. This is all about really showing off how one of his favorite inventions worked, which was the phonograph. He did have one of the first recorded sounds, and for example, we have here, this is a replica of how it would have first originally been made. They would have all been on tin foil. You speak into one side, it makes little grooves throughout the tin foil, and then you can play it back, and the sound would be repeated. And then slowly throughout time, it went from that kind of a cylinder to a wax cylinder, and then to a record. And this whole room, and I can show you over here, this whole room has different types of phonographs as they went throughout history.
Wow.
Through the museum here, we do offer phonograph demonstrations to the public, so people can come in and they will hear how a phonograph works. And we also have here a smart cart where you can actually get your hands onto some of the original pieces for the phonograph. Like right here, this is the ambroll cylinder, which you can feel right there. We have also other different pieces. It's really the ability to have hands-on, which makes this part of the museum so unique.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It is fun. Kids really get the understanding that, you know, these pieces are what led to their iPods. So.
This particular phonograph is from 1904, and it works. The music's on one of these cylinders, which we just told you about, and we're going to crank this up. It just works like a wind-up toy would work, kind of thing. We're going to crank it up, turn it on, and this got a spring in here that's making the cylinder go round and round and round. We have a needle here on the arm. Going to put this down. The songs are sort of corny.
Now Mrs. Brown told hubby, I just can't stand the heat. Please send me to the country, dear.
Yeah, this is over 100 years old. Yeah. And we have a few of these photographs in here that we can play for the people. Now these old phonographs have no volume control, and so the expression, can you imagine in the late 1800s and people have their windows open and a lot of these are being played in the neighborhood and the old lady down the street says, put a sock in it. And that's really how the term came to be. There's your volume control.
My wife's gone away.
And so they could make different.
The cylinders only played one song, and they only played for 2 minutes, and that is one reason why later on they started making the discs, which we now call records, because they could put more than one song on them, and they play longer than 2 minutes. You're welcome.
Beautiful. I love the way it sounds.
I know, they really are. Like I said, the songs are sort of. Now you can hear how it's starting to wind down, because you know it just runs like a spring, just like a wind-up toy.
So Edison really did develop the first motion picture studio, and it was called the Black Mariah. It's a very interesting system because how they would film is with natural light, and they needed to grab as much natural light as possible, so they would have the roof, the ability to open and close. But as you know, the sun sets and rises at different times. So in order to be able to record on a regular basis, the whole studio, and I can show you here, this is a replica, whole studio had the ability to turn. So as the whole studio, they would get out and move the whole studio all the way around so that the sun could be at the optimal position for better light.
Wow.
It really was an interesting thing. Edison developed some of the first movies as well. Back here you can see.
This is interesting.
Yeah, it is really.
Yeah, we just had an episode on the Fort Myers Film Festival coming out, and you know, Edison was just the creator and inventor of so many things, but I mean,
and the motion picture industry, who would have thought? Yeah, he really wanted to develop something that the phonograph did for the ear, with, you know, something that would do for the eye. And so he developed this so that people could go to different places and see different things and have the ability to take a camera and go to Paris and then bring it back so that the whole world could really see what was going on. And he actually sort of developed the first, if you will, the first pay-per-view. They would go into different places and you'd have a pocket full of change. You'd go in, you'd watch things like a boxing match, a dance, people doing various things. And it was all through the Black Mariah, which credits Thomas Edison.
It must have been so exciting in that day and age. You know, to bring
the ability
like that
to see something, I could only imagine. I could only imagine.
And that's incredible. So their whole studio, they had something that just, they could spin
it was on a rail, and they were able just to get out. A whole bunch of guys would go around and they'd push it around just so that they could get optimal light.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So these are the different types of some of his bigger inventions, as you can see there.
Oh, this is where you would put the money in, and then you could watch a show.
Yep, and you could just peer your eyes right on into it. These are some of the early works of the motion picture camera. He did work with George Eastman, obviously of the Kodak company, and developing 35 millimeter film. The same thing, which is still around today.
Okay, and I see it says it's Black Mariah, and I've heard there's a Black Mariah Film Festival coming
Yes.
up as well.
We do have the Black Mariah Film Festival. It will be November 1st here at the Edison and Ford Winter Estates property on the Ford lawn outside, and then November 2nd at Edison State College, and it's experimental documentaries, and it's actually a qualifier for the Academy Awards as well. So a lot of great films that'll be showed on November 1st and 2nd.
Wonderful. That's,
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
You have to come out, yeah.
Black
for
and
sure.
White Film Festival. Neil, this is just absolutely beautiful, like breathtakingly beautiful.
It really is. It really is. That's why Edison chose this property. In 1885, he first came to the property and started construction on his home. This would have been built in 1887 and finalized with his friend Ezra Gilliland. But after a few years, Edison acquired the house next door, so you have the Edison main home as well as the Edison guest home.
Okay, so this was Edison's home?
This was
then
Edison's
he
winter
had a
home,
guest
correct. And then a
home
guest
right
home
next
available
door.
right next door.
nice.
Available for people who would come, because when you would come to Fort Myers in that time, you would spend a very long period of time here just because of the transportation system was very lacking in those times. So people would come here for a long period of time and they would be able to stay in the home right next door. Henry Ford would be one of those visitors for a long time, and then after a while he even purchased the home next door because he was a frequent visitor. But we do have the Edison main home. We'll head up there in a second, but as you can see, it has wide sweeping porches, very nice and airy. It's
So
a
they
gorgeous
can
state
see
right on the
this beautiful
Caloosahatchee
view.
River. It is just with the most beautiful view. And you want to head up on in?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, let's go. So have a look through the window.
Wow. It's like taking a glimpse into history.
It really is. It really is.
Now, are most of the items in the home original?
They are all original to the property. They are on loan to us by the Charles Edison Foundation. So everything in here is original from the 1900s. And one of my favorite pieces in here are the electrolier. Electrolier was, obviously you've heard of chandeliers. This is Edison's version of that, holding his light bulbs inside of there. Those pieces, he's got several of them throughout his home complex, and each one of them are different and unique. So they all have different types of architecture to the light fixtures or the electrolier itself.
It even looks like hand painted.
It's a
Like someone's
very
hand.
interesting piece inside of this building, but you can see kind of how they would live. I mean, it's a very modest living for the Edison family. This is their relaxing time to come out and sort of get away from it all. Very comfortable feel, open French doors, great crown molding throughout the property. It's
Now-
a gorgeous piece.
If you wanted to go and take a look inside, is that ever possible?
Yeah, you can actually get inside of the homes every Thursday at 10:30. We do offer a behind-the-scenes tour with our curators. They'll take you inside and give you really in-depth knowledge to the whole property itself. And
Wow.
those are
And
a
you can
smaller
walk
private
around?
group. Yeah, and you can walk around inside. They'll give you little booties, and because everything inside of there is a protected artifact,
Right.
we do have to keep those to a minimum group. But go ahead and give us a call and jump on that tour.
That
It's a
would be
fantastic
fun.
tour. Yeah.
Thursdays at 10.
Thursdays at 10:30. Correct. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wow. Well, thank you so much for showing us.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Well, we've got even more, so let's go check out the guest home, shall we? Yeah.
Let's go see the guest. looks just as big as Edison's home.
Well, they are mirrored images. This is the Edison guest home. This is where a lot of the dignitaries, presidents, some of Edison's friends and families would stay in here.
Did you say presidents?
There were presidents who have stayed on this property. It's full of different varieties of dignitaries as well. This was originally owned by one of his business partners, Ezra Gilliland. However, Ezra Gilliland and Thomas Edison had a falling out of sorts over the dealings with the phonograph and went through a few other hands, and then Edison purchased it back up and made it into his guest home. So I don't know if you noticed in the first home, the kitchen was missing and there wasn't any real dining room. It was more of just of a living space. So when he got the guest home, he moved his dining room and kitchen over to this side. And this is kind of right in here, the sitting room, the dining room, and the living quarters for his guests would be upstairs. He would stay over in his main home, but then he would come over and dine with his guests, and this would be the kind of the formal dining area. He didn't really like the smell of food. It kind of bothered him. He had a very odd diet as well. So the farther away he could get his kitchen, the better. So that's why it's the complete opposite side from his bedroom.
So he has no kitchen at his home?
On his home, no. The kitchen would be here in the guest home to get it far away. And the kitchen is actually detached from the main guest home as well. Early on, that was a very common thing with homes because you wanted to, if there was any fire in the kitchen, you wanted to keep it kind of as far away as possible from the home. So it's a very interesting design with the wide sweeping porches as well.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm walking on the grounds. I noticed everyone's carrying these phone-type devices, and so I found some wonderful guests who are here visiting the Edison Ford Estates, and they were gracious enough to say, of course, we would love to be interviewed. So if you can just tell us your name.
I'm Maggie.
I'm John Cronmuller.
I'm Martina.
Christina.
And your grandpa.
Right.
And your granddaughter.
Is that my
And are
granddaughter?
you guys enjoying the day here?
I got 17 grandchildren. This is
17.
just three of them.
Wow, that's amazing. And so is this very informative? You just push the
just
button,
press the button.
Yeah.
and then it tells you all about what you're looking at?
Right.
That's wonderful. And then so Neil, this is for the self-guided tour?
Yes, you do have two different tour options when you come over to the Homes and Gardens. You can go self-guided with an audio wand, or you can go on a guided tour, which they're kind of filing through behind me here as well.
great.
So
So you got
you have the two different options, self-guided, and then you've got a guided tour option. Do it however you want, because some people like to go with the personalization of the tour, or some people like to just stroll on their own pace. So we really give you the option of how to do it best. So here we are at the Ford Winter Estates. Henry Ford purchased the property to spend more time with Thomas Edison when he would come down to visit him. He would come down normally in February for Edison's birthday, which you know around here in Fort Myers is a big time of the month. So Ford would come down. He purchased the home. It's very famous for its tin roofing and craftsman style design. Some of the pieces in here are not original to the property. However, they are all replicas, and you can go ahead and peer on in. You want to go up and check a look?
Let's go see inside.
So here we are inside of the Ford house. As you can see, again, it is a craftsman style house. The ceilings, the floor, the wood all around gives it this real comfortable cabin type country feel.
It looks a lot different than
Yeah,
Edison's
Ford's
style.
wife Claire has called this her little getaway. This was a very unique property. Ford would love to open up the doors, play Edison's phonograph, come out into the porches and just dance around. He loved to dance.
Oh, really?
So this was a very comfortable spot for the Ford family to come and spend some time with Thomas Edison during his birthday months.
Wow, that's beautiful. Wow, thanks again, Neil.
You're welcome. Yeah, this kind of finalizes the roundabout of the property. I'll show you one or two other little places, but this is kind of the last stop along the way.
Okay, and when can all of our viewers come and see the Edison Ford Estates?
You can come to the Edison Ford Winter Estates daily from 9 o'clock until 5:30. And we're only really closed on Christmas and Thanksgiving. And in the month of December, of course, we have our famous holiday nights. That'll run through the month of December and stay open even later.
So every every day, Monday through Sunday?
Monday through Sunday, we do holiday nights and Decembers, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, come and check it out. This is really, really incredible. What a treat. You get a peek into history, some of the beautiful and historic things that are in the building. It's just really incredible.
Well, thank you for coming out, Melissa. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure, pleasure.
Okay, Neil, I know I already said goodbye and thank you and everything, but there's so much to see here at the Edison Ford
I did
Estate.
tell you, there's a few more things, right? Yeah.
So what do we have?
This is some of our antique car collection. You can come and view a few of the cars made by Henry Ford himself, and just great to see the collection and learn about the history as well.
Okay, great. And there's one more thing you're going to show us today, right? Is
Yeah,
there
I've got a little surprise for you. I've got the
surprise?
Moonlight Garden, which is actually the site of one of his original laboratories on the building, but I'll explain that when we get over there,
all right,
okay?
great. That sounds
Let's
great.
go.
Thank you. Ooh, this is so pretty.
I know. This is why I told you there was one more spot you had to come and see. And this is the Moonlight Garden. It was built in 1927 by Elaine Biddle Shipman, which was one of the first female landscape architects in America. Yeah, this was designed to be replacing one of his original laboratories, so you can kind of see the shell. That laboratory is currently up in Detroit, Michigan, but this was built kind of for Mina Edison. Designed with the colors, the smells, everything to be perfect at nighttime when the moon would come down and reflect right into the reflecting pool. It's just a gorgeous little spot, and we even have the ability to host private weddings and events inside of here. This one's a smaller one, but we do have wedding spots available for larger weddings over by the Ford property, along the riverfront in the Coconut Grove, and this one to be your kind of small, private, intimate wedding and such a historic little area of the property.
Seems like Edison had a little bit of a romantic bone in him.
Yes, this was. Actually, well, this was a gift from Henry Ford to Mina Edison because she was a little upset that he was taking away the laboratory. So he kind of made this to kind of give back. But this was definitely kind of one of those little like honeymoon spots where Edison and Mina, his wife, could come and enjoy the moonlight underneath the stars.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Neil.
No, I
It was
can't
a
even
great
thank you
tour.
enough. It was great. It was great
Thank
meeting you. And
I
hope
look
you
forward
come
to
back.
coming back on
Yeah,
Thursday.
anytime.
I want
There you go, behind the
inside
scenes.
tour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell me you're sorry, so sorry that you broke my heart. Let's not break up, let us make up. What would become of me should we part? I'm lonely without you. Just think of all that we've gone through. Let me hold you dear. Tell me you're sorry, dear. Can't you tell I'm sorry too?
Edison and Ford Winter Estates is a must-see in Southwest Florida. As you can see, people come from all over the world to see these award-winning homes, lush botanical gardens, and the Edison Ford Museum. They have hundreds of inventions, artifacts, and special exhibits, and offer insight into the life of these two genius and hard-working innovators who have transformed the world. This is a must-see and educational, beautiful attraction for all.